Hello, Sand Sharks. My name is Mitchell Meagle, and we're here with the newest head coach for USCB. We're glad to be joined by Ted Falkner. Welcome.
Yeah, really excited to be here. Love campus so far. Been here for one night and excited to get moving forward and meeting the guys.
Well, we wanted to kind of get to know you a little bit better. Can you start by where you played college baseball, where you went to school?
Yeah, I played at Concordia University in Ann Arbor, Michigan. It was a great four-year school up there that it's funny, they recruited me as a shortstop, and the first day of practice they're like, "You're really not a shortstop, you're a third baseman, you're too slow," and got to learn quickly how to play that position. But played there for 4 years and had a great opportunity to travel the country and play baseball, and that's where I kind of fell into my coaching career.
Okay, so you're starting your coaching career. Where was that next stop? Where did you get your foot in the door?
It was at Concordia University. I was finishing up my teaching degree there, and the coach came up to me and he said, since you're here, why don't you come help out? And it was a challenge because some of my really good friends were seniors that year, but they kind of said, you got to make this decision. You got to either hang out with them or you got to become a coach. And I took the coach route, and that was 17 years ago. So it was a blessing in disguise to have that opportunity there.
And while you were at Concordia, how did you move up that totem pole? Did you go from there going to an assistant coach, or where was your next stop after that?
After that, I went to Madonna University, which was the last place I was a head coach at. I was kind of recruited during ball games by their head coach in a funny way. He's like, why don't you come over here? So when that happened, they were the rival of the school I was at. So there was some challenging times again, but it was a better opportunity to open more doors for me, which got me into summer collegiate baseball and everything else.
So let's talk about summer collegiate baseball. That's a big thing right now going on with like the Coastal Plains League, so on and so forth, Cape Cod going on. What kind of role did you play in the summer league? What team did you coach for? What kind of experience did you gain from that?
I started with the Michigan Monarchs, but we went up to Alaska and played in the Alaska League. It was a weird year how they set that up, but we went up and were in Alaska for 2.5 months over the summer. So that was a really cool in the Alaska Collegiate League. That was a cool summer in my early 20s. From there, I had 2 opportunities in the Northwoods League, one up in Thunder Bay, Ontario, and then the other one was in lacrosse with the Lacrosse Loggers, where I was hitting coach, a lot of times bench coach, and some of the times I didn't mind that role because I was a head coach at a university, and I didn't mind taking a step back and just working with the guys and having that experience again.
So you're the head coach at Madonna. You're going and playing in that, or coaching in the Alaska League. You step away for a couple of years and then you come back to Madonna. It seemed like a lot of your head coaching experience came from that Madonna. Can you talk about it?
Yeah, it was unique. You have to build your resume up. So I had to go get my master's degree. Went out to a school in Iowa to get my master's degree. Came back to Madonna as an assistant. Got my first head coaching job in Wisconsin at a school there, and that was great to learn the administrative side of things. And then from there, Madonna, the job opened up during Christmas break. My family's from the Metro Detroit area. We were driving home to see family for Christmas. The head coach is a great friend of mine, and one of my mentors called me and says, "I just resigned. I put your name in." They interviewed me the next day, and then that's kind of how it went. So it was a great opportunity to be there and to continue that winning culture of what they had up there. So, but it was unique to be an assistant there, to leave, come back, leave, and then come back again. Kind of the coaching carousel, I guess you could say.
So, like we were saying, Madonna's kind of where you got your real big feet wet. Everyone can kind of Google your resume and see where you were, the wins, the losses. It speaks for itself. What are something that's maybe not on that resume that you kind of take pride in? Maybe it be individual accomplishments. What are something that stands out to you?
Ultimately, it's seeing some of those guys graduating. I'll tell you what, I had a former Madonna player who is in AA right now, but he asked me to be his officiant for a wedding. And I thought that kind of impact, the relationship we had, the coach-to-player relationship, I was blown away by it. So I had to go online and get certified to do that, and I ended up having to do 3 or 4 players' weddings, not having, but asked to, and I thought that was really cool. That's something that's not on the resume that I think is, the wins and losses, they come with how you set up the program and the things that you want done each day with the team, but building those relationships to me are the long-lasting keys for sure.
So let's kind of dive into coaching philosophy. You said you played shortstop, third base. Are you more of like a defensive-minded coach, or are you more like let's put some stock into arms? What kind of philosophy do you have?
Well, I know pitching wins. So as I've gone through these 17 years, I was basically a position player my whole life. I've really dove deep into the pitching side of it. Every convention I've gone to, everything, I really would just pick at the brains of all the pitching coaches everywhere. So I feel that I've evened it up, with that for sure. Because again, you got to have depth in pitching to win, and that's something that is I see it every year in the postseason. But for me, offense, being a hitting coach, that's what I did a lot of times, especially in those summer collegiate leagues where you get a lot of these guys from all these big D1 schools, and you weren't there to change their swing or anything. You're just there to help them get through the grind and be there more mentally with them. So that's something that I thought was a good experience for me, and I got to gather and gain a lot of information from those programs too, and always constantly learning. If I don't feel good coaches, if they're not trying to constantly learn, then they're not going to be as successful down the road. So for me, offensively, infield work, but I've been an outfield coach. I've done it all in the 17 years, and I'm not saying like, ooh, I've done it all, but I'm saying like it's you just kind of, everywhere you go, whatever the opportunity is, you got to take it. And so I've been fortunate to have those experiences. But ultimately, I wish I was more of a pitching coach, but that's what I hire a guy for, and he'll take care of that stuff.
That makes sense, and it's a good balance with Coach Roberts because he was a pitcher in high school and college as well.
Yep.
So that seems to be a good balance, and we can kind of talk about that a little bit later. So you're looking at USCB. We had the opening at here. What attracted you to USCB in this area?
First of all, it was location, and it kind of leads to a story. And the story that 11 years ago, before I got married with my wife, we were sitting around, and she's like, "Where is this going to take us? I'm going to be marrying a baseball coach. I know you're going to be traveling all over the country. Where's it going to go?" And I said, there's a location down in South Carolina that I've always had my eye on, and I know it was a newer program then, but I just thought location plus Southern baseball plus campus opportunities, everything there was there. And when the job opened up, she actually texted me the morning that she found it, and she just said, "Your dream location, LOL," in the text, and sent it to me. And I applied that afternoon. And it was one of those things where I feel like it was meant to be. After the interview process, coming down here and seeing everything, the beauty of the campus, how great the community of the people are here that work here, it's a no-brainer for me and my family to make this jump here. We're really excited about this opportunity.
So talk about that moving process, because it's been a whirlwind, I know, for the last 2-3 weeks since it was official. Can you talk about that moving down process and then those next steps? Yeah,
you start with having to say goodbye to your former team, the guys that you've put all your time into for 4 or 5 years. So that was an emotional one, especially during the COVID times, but it's part of the life. It's part of going when doors are open, taking advantage of those doors that are open. So we're excited about, the housing market's crazy in Michigan right now, so we're fortunate enough to already sell our house in a half a day. So that's a huge stress relief when it comes to moving and relocating your children. But my family, my 2 boys, they're extremely excited about it. They already are drawing sharks and are all fired up about sharks, so that's a great thing for sure. And my wife, originally, she lived in Jacksonville for a little while, so she's got the beach body southern style of things. So she's ready for that this experience too. So just talking with her last night, she's like, "I just can't wait to get down there." So we're excited to get going here.
So let's talk about USCB baseball. Well, you seem to be well versed in NAIA baseball. What have you learned about USCB baseball, maybe from previous crossings, and then what kind of potential do you see, especially with this core group that's already here?
Yeah, what I've learned is, 4 or 5 years ago they were in the World Series, or maybe 6 years ago it was, but they had a great team, and they were building with a lot of transfers, a lot of guys that just you find the right pieces to fit in to make a run. I'm excited about the guys we have here because everyone that I've talked to so far, they're extremely hungry. They're ready to get going. They're saying they're so happy to get started and to have not me as a person, but just have the leadership here to get moving. So it's exciting, learning the facilities and everything. It's all part of this whole transition. But I think that with the guys we have, we're going to compete, and that's something that I'm going to discuss with them today. Our first team meetings this afternoon, and I cannot wait to kind of set the tone. And I think it starts with the mental side of it, of not settling for just being around and maybe in some games, but we're going to compete our butts off in the classroom, in relationships, and definitely on the field. So they all right now have an open opportunity to show me what they have. I've seen it on paper. I've talked to Coach Roberts, and I've done some other evaluations. but they're going to get the opportunities next couple weeks to show me their talents. So maybe they didn't play right away in the previous seasons, but maybe they win the spot. And I'm not a guy who cares about how old you are or what grade you're in. If you're the best player at that position and give us a chance to win and you compete, then that's all I'm going to ask for.
So let's talk a little bit more about the upcoming weeks. What do you kind of have planned? I know you said you have open practices this week. What kind of organized and group work do you have coming up in the next couple of weeks?
I appreciate the patience the guys have had during this whole transition for sure. I keep telling them on the group meet chats that, guys, I'm getting down there. It's a process to this. I'm trying to get going. So Coach Roberts has done an amazing job with handling all of that, they're doing open field work. So basically senior-led practices this past week and then this upcoming week. Then on Monday we'll get going with our first. We'll have a team practice, and then I'm going to start doing individual group work with the positions. And from there on weekends we'll have some team practices and some scrimmages and I want to see them play baseball. I don't just want to see them take ground balls. I want to see them have their baseball actions, their instincts, all those type of things. So the first couple of weeks is really setting the language and the lingo of how we do things, and how we are going to do things, and probably going to be, I don't know if it's going to be a change of pace or not from what it was like here in the past, but that's my job to implement that with the guys. So, there'll be some bumps in the road for sure when it comes to, getting used to the pace and the things that I believe in. But I think it's an open opportunity for all the guys to show me what they have.
And kind of the last of the formal questions of this conversation. So what are kind of your long-term, short-term goals with the team? I know long-term, short-term is to be the NAIA champions, but what are some goals that you have for yourself as well as the team?
My goals for sure is to compete in the conference. This is the best conference in NAIA baseball, in my opinion. So to not just be settled to be in the middle of the pack or whatever, but to get to the top of the conference. Again, I think it goes with the mentality. It goes with getting the guys to come together and building that culture of that winning atmosphere for sure. So one of my short-term goals is it's baseball. You're in every single game. So to get the guys to compete at a level together without any individualism, that we can be successful and work on our dominate the fundamentals, doing the little things right and throwing lots of strikes. The biggest thing I think in pitching, everyone talks about mechanics and all this other stuff, but if guys can't throw strikes, then it's going to be long days at the ballpark. So having that, that mentality, that work ethic, all that stuff, it's exciting for what we have coming up here. And I think the biggest goal obviously is to get to an opening round and see what happens. But first we got to start with the basics of I got to get these guys to play together, and not that they haven't in the past, but I'm curious to see how they mesh.
Excellent. So let's kind of switch to a little bit of a fun question. I think it will kind of open up eyes of who you really are. When you were growing up, did you have a baseball player or an athlete that you kind of looked up and idolized? Yes.
At first, Bo Jackson was my favorite athlete of all time. I used to write papers on him. Just the fact that he played two sports and his life story of playing all the sports that he did and was just a beast in all of them. That was what an amazing story about him. And I got to finally meet him a few years ago, which was really cool. So he was a guy I kind of just grew up watching and seeing how it was effortless. Everything he did was effortless, and it was pretty unique to see that for him. So Bo Jackson was definitely one of my favorite athletes.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you spending a little bit of time to get to know you a little bit better. I know everyone with the USCB family is excited you're here, excited for the future of the USCB baseball team. But they're going to go through these fall practices. It's going to be really exciting to see where they are. So make sure you come out to Richard Gray Stadium, see Ted and the Sand Sharks. So we appreciate you stopping by and listening. Fins up.